Hey, listener, welcome back to the Deep Dive. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Tesla Cybertruck.
All right.
And specifically, we're going to be looking at WhistlinDiesel's durability test video that he's got up on YouTube.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with WhistlinDiesel,
Yeah.
he's pretty famous for doing some pretty outlandish tests on vehicles.
Right.
So,
He doesn't really hold back.
yeah, he doesn't hold back. And so we figured this would be a good opportunity for us to take a look and see what we could learn about the Cybertruck through his crazy antics.
Sounds good.
All right. So, right off the bat, one of the things that is evident is that this,
Yeah.
futuristic design of the Cybertruck
Right.
isn't just aesthetic. It actually has some real world implications.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
one of the things that we saw right away is that, they had trouble charging it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, they pulled up to a Tesla supercharger.
Yeah.
They were ready to juice this thing up, and it was a total mess.
I thought it'd be easy.
Yeah, well, I think they thought it would be easy, but, it turns out that not all charging stations are created equal.
Uh-huh.
And, they needed special account access to use this particular one.
Wow.
It was packed full of other EVs. So you can see that the infrastructure maybe isn't quite there yet.
Especially if you don't live in like a major metropolitan area.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're going off the beaten path at all.
Yeah, if you're out in the boonies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there are very many Tesla superchargers
Yeah, I don't think so.
out there.
Not yet. Anyway.
Right.
So, but, WhistlinDiesel, being WhistlinDiesel, he had to have a little fun with the whole EV situation.
Sure.
And, was comparing EVs to microwaves and things like that.
Right.
Kind of set a little bit of a lighthearted tone for
Yeah.
what ends up being a pretty brutal series of tests.
Yeah. He doesn't mess around.
So the first thing that
Ah.
that they did was they took a Ford F-150 and
Yeah.
put it head-to-head with the Cybertruck over a series of speed bumps.
Okay. Classic test.
Yeah, and so you really see kind of the strengths and weaknesses of both trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat, so for example, the Cybertruck suspension
Yeah.
just glided over those speed bumps like they were pebbles.
Nice.
And
Smooth ride.
yeah, smooth ride. But then they found a hidden hitch
Oh.
underneath the Cybertruck that was just completely mangled.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like completely destroyed.
Yeah, so it kind of makes you wonder, was that a design oversight?
Right. Was that supposed to be there?
Was it just a fluke?
Right.
But then, after that they went and they did an off-road race.
Oh, fun.
And initially the Cybertruck was absolutely dominating.
Okay.
It was just leaving the F-150 in its dust.
Wow.
But it got bogged down in some softer terrain.
Oh, no.
And the reason is because some of the key off-road features, like the locking differentials,
Oh, wow.
are reliant on software updates that weren't available yet.
So it's like you're buying a truck that isn't quite ready.
Yeah, and it's supposed to have these features like, the marketing material,
Yeah.
really plays up this, go anywhere, do anything kind of.
Right. Conquer any terrain.
Exactly. And yet,
It's not quite there yet.
yeah, it's not quite there yet.
So it needs some updates
We need some updates.
to reach its full potential,
And what happens if you're out in the middle of nowhere?
and your software crashes.
Yeah. And you don't have cell service.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do then?
So it definitely adds but kind of a layer of complexity that,
It's interesting.
the traditional trucks just don't have.
Yeah, you don't really think about software updates when you think about trucks.
No, not at all.
There you are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So, next up, they did this pothole test.
Okay.
And this one got pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
The Cybertruck's air suspension really was put to the test here. Like, it practically bottomed out
Wow.
on impact.
So like a really deep pothole.
Yeah, like a really deep pothole.
Yeah.
But what was really impressive is that it seemed to self-recover.
Oh, wow.
Like it was adjusting in real time to the uneven terrain.
So the air suspension was actively working to keep it level.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And this was in stark contrast to the Ford, which
Yeah.
the entire frame buckled and snapped
Oh, my goodness.
under the pressure.
So the Ford didn't fare so well.
No, it did not. It was
I didn't handle it.
It was a pretty dramatic visual.
Yeah, I bet.
So
So the Cybertruck's doing pretty well so far.
so far so good.
Yeah.
But, aside from these planned challenges, the video also kind of shows some unexpected malfunctions
Oh, no.
that were kind of concerning. So, for example, during one jump that they did, the bed cover just disintegrated.
What?
Yeah.
Like it just fell apart?
Yeah, it just blew apart, and then the door panels kept popping off.
Really?
Like with the slightest touch.
Wow.
So, these are little things that
Yeah.
on the surface may not seem like a big deal. But it kind of makes you wonder about the overall build quality.
Right. Is this thing actually built as tough as they say it is?
Yeah. And how is it going to hold up to everyday wear and tear?
Yeah, exactly right.
And then there was this one really kind of scary moment
Okay.
where the accelerator pedal got stuck,
Oh.
leading to a pretty bad crash.
Wow. That's not good.
Yeah. And it's important to note that Tesla actually later on
Yeah.
issued a recall for this sticking accelerator pedal.
So it wasn't just this one truck.
Yeah. It was a widespread issue.
Wow.
And this kind of raises questions about, their quality control process.
Yeah. Are they rushing this thing out? Are they not properly testing it before they send it out?
Yeah. I mean, for a vehicle that is supposed to be, this game changer, this revolutionary vehicle.
Right. It's supposed to be the future. You
Yeah.
would think that they would have ironed out these kinks.
Yeah, you would think so.
Especially something like a sticking accelerator pedal.
That's pretty major.
It's a safety issue.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But what was even perhaps more concerning is that after they decided to give the Cybertruck just a routine pressure wash,
Okay.
the touchscreen completely went dark.
What?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
The entire truck was essentially bricked,
No way.
and they couldn't get it running again.
So they pressure washed it and the whole thing just died.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound very good for, off-roading or, going through tough conditions.
Yeah, or even just going through a car wash.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It kind of really highlights this potential vulnerability of, relying so heavily on
Right.
a single point of
Yeah.
failure like a touchscreen.
Especially in a vehicle that's supposed to be, for rugged environments and, tough conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Interesting.
it's
It's kind of a mixed bag so far, it sounds like.
yeah, it is a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There's definitely some impressive stuff, but then there's some stuff that's kind of like,
Yeah. Makes you wonder a little
Right,
bit.
makes you wonder. Yeah. And then just when you think things couldn't get any crazier,
Yeah.
they break out the C4.
Oh, yeah, the explosives. It was absolute madness.
Yeah.
They rigged the tailgate of the Ford F-150
Okay.
with explosives and boom parts scattered everywhere.
Oh, wow.
It was a crazy spectacle to watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, I expected the Cybertruck to handle it a little better.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, with its whole, unbreakable reputation and all that.
Right.
But then they strapped some C4 to the Cybertruck door
Okay.
and detonate it.
Yeah.
And the damage was shockingly minimal.
Oh, wow.
Like just some scorching on the surface, no gaping hole or anything.
So the Cybertruck handled the C4 better than the Ford.
Way better.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty powerful visual.
Yeah.
But then they decided to put the riot defense features to the test.
Okay.
And this actually led to one of the most interesting discoveries of the whole video.
Oh, really?
So they bring in this professional boxer, Cody Dewar,
Okay.
to attack WhistlinDiesel while he's inside the Cybertruck. And guess what?
What?
The supposedly unbreakable glass
Yeah.
shattered.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So much for riot defense.
Yeah, so much for riot defense.
Yeah.
But what this actually revealed is one of the Cybertruck's most innovative yet potentially problematic features.
Okay.
The single-piece body panels.
What does that mean?
So remember the door panels kept falling off?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that instead of multiple pieces welded together,
Uh-huh.
the Cybertruck's exterior is constructed from one giant seamless piece of metal.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's essentially like a giant metal origami creation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And kind of scary.
Yeah, especially when you think about those flimsy door panels.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But so what are the pros and cons of this single piece construction?
Well, I mean, it definitely explains the door issue, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just one giant piece of metal and the door is part of that.
Right.
Maybe the hinges or the latch or whatever's not strong enough
Yeah.
to really hold it in place.
Makes sense.
But on the other hand, fewer welds means fewer potential weak points. So it could lead to greater overall strength and rigidity.
So it's like a trade-off.
Yeah, it's definitely the trade-off.
Interesting.
But while all this was going on, WhistlinDiesel was also dealing with something that might be even more concerning to potential buyers.
Oh, what's that?
Tesla's customer service.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so he repeatedly tried to contact them about all these malfunctions he was encountering.
Yeah.
And they were completely unresponsive.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Especially when you consider, the sticking accelerator pedal
Right.
led to a crash. That's a serious safety concern.
Yeah, people could get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, the touchscreen that died after the pressure wash,
Right.
it turns out the whole truck was bricked. They couldn't get it running again.
Wow.
So imagine that happening in a remote area,
Mm-hmm.
miles from civilization.
Yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
It's a little unsettling.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the end, Whistling Diesel declared the Ford F-150 the winner of this durability showdown.
Okay.
But honestly, both trucks had their flaws.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
The Cybertruck definitely showed some impressive resilience in certain areas,
Right.
like withstanding the C4 blast.
Yeah.
But those fragilities, particularly with the door panels,
Mm-hmm.
the software glitches,
Right.
and that alarming touchscreen failure really raised some questions
Yeah.
about its readiness for the everyday consumer.
It makes you wonder, is all the hype worth it?
Yeah.
Is this truck really all it's cracked up to be? I mean, is this truck really all it's cracked up to be, or is it more style over substance?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
We definitely saw glimpses of brilliance.
Right.
Like that single-piece body construction. That's some seriously innovative engineering.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And who could forget those impressive results from the explosion test?
Right.
But then we're left with these concerns about reliability.
Mm.
Those software hiccups that could leave you stranded?
Right.
And that radio silence from Tesla
Yeah.
when problems arise?
Not a good look.
Yeah, it's a puzzling mix
Yeah.
of cutting-edge innovation and potential pitfalls.
It's almost like they're rushing it to market a little bit,
Yeah.
before it's quite ready.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, are they pushing this thing out the door
Yeah.
before it's fully baked?
And with something as complex as a truck,
Yeah.
People rely on these things for their livelihoods,
Yeah.
for their safety. It's not something to mess around with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of a big gamble.
Yeah, and for potential buyers,
Yeah.
especially those early adopters,
Yeah.
who are eager to be part of the Cybertruck revolution.
Yeah.
This video is a pretty crucial reminder, I think,
Yeah, for sure.
that real-world testing often reveals
Yeah.
the true nature of a vehicle.
Right.
You push it beyond the carefully controlled environment of a showroom.
Yeah, you can't really replicate real-world conditions in a lab.
No, you can't. And, you can't always trust the marketing hype either.
Exactly.
So it's like taking a peek behind the curtain,
Yeah.
getting a glimpse of what it might actually be like
Right.
to live with this vehicle day in and day out.
Right. And it kind of makes you think about,
Yeah.
the bigger picture of where the automotive industry is headed.
Exactly.
Are we ready for a world where software updates
Yeah.
are dictating, the functionality of our vehicles, even safety features?
Yeah, and are we comfortable with those risks
Yeah,
of being on the bleeding edge of technology?
it's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are some heavy questions for sure. But, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the decision of whether or not to embrace a vehicle like the Cybertruck
Right.
is a personal one.
It is.
And what we hope this deep dive has provided, listener, is, the knowledge and the context to make an informed decision.
Yeah. To be an educated consumer.
To know what you're getting into.
Exactly. And to understand both the potential and the pitfalls
Yeah.
of this, unconventional vehicle. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. That's right.
So, and remember, this is just a snapshot in time.
Right.
The Cybertruck is still evolving.
Yeah. Who knows what the future holds?
Maybe Tesla will address these concerns, refine the design, deliver on those promises, or maybe this is just a sign of things to come,
Yeah.
glimpse into a future where the lines between vehicle and computer continue to blur.
Interesting.
So, listener, as always, stay curious.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning. And until next time, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.